We are talking major Bachelor drama because Rachael Kirkconnell has gone on Call Her Daddy to expose all the relationship drama details between her and Matt James. Things have been very weird since he posted a breakup post very suddenly of the two of them right after having posted Instagram reels of the two of them on vacation together. So everyone's just been wanting to know what the heck has been going on. She's been liking things, her sister has said a couple things, but it hasn't been very clear until right now what has gone down, and everyone has been dying to know the details. Let's rewind a bit to understand Matt and Rachel's relationship timeline and some previous drama. So Matt James was announced as the Bachelor in 2020, which was a huge deal because he was the franchise's first Black male lead. This was right around the time when The Bachelor was getting called out for its lack of diversity, so it felt like ABC was finally trying to make a change. But that excitement didn't last long because the season itself, it was a train wreck from start to finish. During the final episode of Matt's season, he chose Rachel over the other finalist and made it clear that he had strong feelings for Rachel and he saw a future with her, but he wasn't ready to propose. Instead, he offered her a final rose and expressed his desire to continue their relationship outside of the show without the pressure of an engagement. Matt's pick, Rachel, quickly became the most controversial contestant of the season and maybe of the show. Right before the season wrapped up, old social media photos of Rachel surfaced showing her attending an antebellum plantation-themed party back in college. Yep, a literal Old South party. This sparked major backlash, especially since she was dating the first Black Bachelor. It was bad, like really bad. Then things somehow got even worse when longtime Bachelor host Chris Harrison stepped in to defend Rachel during an interview with Rachel Lindsay. Instead of acknowledging how problematic Rachel's past was, he called for grace and said that people should have been more understanding about her actions. This did not sit well with fans, and Chris faced so much backlash that he ended up stepping away from the franchise indefinitely, and eventually he was permanently replaced after hosting the show for 19 years. After all of this, Matt and Rachel actually broke up before the finale even aired. He basically said that he needed her to do the work to educate herself and he couldn't be with someone who didn't understand the weight of her actions. But then, they did end up getting back together a few months later. Rachel did apologize and promise to learn from her mistakes, and it seemed like Matt truly believed in her and was giving their relationship a second chance. They were together up until recently, so they've been dating for quite some time, as this season of The Bachelor was in 2020, we're now in 2025. And I will say, over the years, people have really grown to love them as a couple, as they have traveled the world together, they've posted food review videos together. People love their social media content. So after all this time, it was quite the shocker to see that suddenly Matt was saying that they were done. On January 16th, Matt James took to Instagram to announce that him and Rachel had ended their relationship after nearly 4 years together. And the weird part was he had just posted a food review video with her just a couple hours before he posted this breakup post, so fans were extremely confused by this whole thing. And they felt like what he said in his caption was just so strange. He shared, "Father God, give Rachel and I strength to mend our broken hearts. Give us a peace about this decision to end our relationship that transcends worldly understanding. Shower our friends and family with kindness and love to comfort us, and remind us that our joy comes from you, Lord." Fans were looking at this post like, what are you talking about? Like, it was just not processing to people that he was posting that they broke up. They felt like it was a joke or something. That's how shocked people were. And it was just so unexpected. And it also wasn't a collaboration post. He had just tagged her in this photo, and things just felt very off. People were trying to come up with theories about what this could mean. Rachel hadn't made a public statement either immediately following the news, so everyone was just kind of wondering what was going on. They were waiting, but she did start to like a couple comments suggesting that she was unaware of the announcement beforehand, indicating that she might have been caught off guard with the breakup entirely, and her sister had also chimed in on Instagram in the comment section to address the situation, and it sounded like Rachel was blindsided. And this week, she ended up sitting down with Alex Cooper on Call Her Daddy to tell her side of what actually went down, and fans were eagerly awaiting the tea. But prior to the episode dropping, she was approached at LAX airport and asked if infidelity might have played a role in their breakup, and she shut these rumors down. She also said that there was no chance of them getting back together. So, of course, this is how we were starting the episode, with people knowing, okay, no infidelity, they're not getting back together. What the heck happened. And of course, she dove into all of how it went down. She said that their third year of dating, she kind of started to be like, all right, where is this going? Just want to know where your head is at. And she said it seemed like they were on the same page. When they talked about things, it seemed privately and publicly, marriage sounded like it was on both of their minds. She said the words were there, but the actions weren't. He'd been seen in interviews saying that he was excited for them to start a family in the future. Like, he was talking about these things of them being together in the long run very publicly.
Yeah. What are you two most excited for in the future?
Today, eating, but
Eating, yeah.
But like in the actual future, just having a family together.
Oh, stop! Really?
Yeah.
But then Alex brings up the fact that they didn't live together. And Rachael says that it was like they were living together because they traveled so much and had things at each other's places, but because he was religious, that's why he claimed like he didn't want to live with her. She says that she feels looking back now that she was making excuses for this and him keeping his New York City apartment and Miami apartment, and told herself that they had talked about those being an investment property and her home in Georgia was like their main hub. But of course, looking back now, she's like, why did he really want to keep those properties? Why weren't we living together? Was it really the religion? What was going on there? And she says, looking back, it was probably a red flag, but she was telling herself it wasn't at the time. And she says a couple months ago, it really seemed though that he was down for marriage, as he was telling her to start saving things and looking at rings. And it just became an easier and easier conversation for him to talk about their future. And when Alex was asking her about arguments that they maybe had or any times that they bickered, she said that, towards the end, she always felt like she was the one that was always saying sorry and felt crazy at times. And at the end, when they were breaking up, he was saying that she has a hard time of taking accountability. In reaction to this, tons of people were commenting in the live chat saying that they were triggered hearing this, having flashbacks to relationships of their own, and calling Matt a narcissist. She then gets into their breakup, of course, and she says that they were in Japan together on vacation and everything seemed great on the trip. They went from London to Tokyo, no sign of any problems. But she says that the night before the breakup, they were trying to find a good place to eat for dinner. And this is very important because this is Matt's job. These two make food review content together. They review restaurants, they share it on social media, so it's always important that if they're having a meal, for it to be worth their while. And she wanted to find a really good spot for them. And the original place that they wanted to go to was closed. She said that she was also on her period, she wasn't feeling very good, and asked for some help finding a spot. And he was like, no, it doesn't matter. But it was important to her that, this was a place that was worth their while and worth it for him as well. Like, she didn't want to disappoint him. They then got to a place to eat, and it wasn't what she thought it was, and it was disappointing, so she started to tear up at dinner. She said when they got back from dinner, she went to hug him, and he wasn't being very comforting. And she asked him if he was mad at her, and he was like, I just don't get why you were upset over dinner. And she says that she felt like she let him down about the spot she picked, and he said that he found it concerning that she got so emotional about the dinner spot and said it worries him about, how she would handle things in the future that are more serious if this is how she's going to be about disappointing him at dinner. And she said that she felt like she was being punished for crying, basically. She said that they went to bed and woke up the next morning and everything seemed fine, but then later they were out and she was showing him videos on her phone and he snapped at her and she was like, okay, even if I'm annoying you, don't treat me like that. And she says that they were then annoyed by each other and went and did their own thing at the market that they were at. And later, when they were together again, he asked why she was quiet. And she was saying that, she was afraid that she was going to bug him and was giving him space because she felt like he was annoyed with her. And then they got into a argument and had a bigger conversation about them. And he let everything out that he was feeling. And she thinks he was maybe feeling this for a while and that this sort of, opened the can of worms. And he said that at the end of the day, there were these qualities about her that he was worried about having in a wife. And there were things that weren't compatible with them and was saying that he should want to propose to her by now and should be ready, but he's not and doesn't know if he sees it. And ultimately said that he didn't want her to resent him if, he didn't end up getting there and they broke up and he had wasted all this time. And she says that she was blindsided by this whole thing because of their previous conversations of, him talking about the future and him in interviews talking about their future. She then says that she got her things because she was leaving Tokyo a day early to make it back home for a baby shower. So literally right as they're breaking up, she has to go catch a flight. And when she was on the plane, it was about to take off, she got a text from her friend talking about the breakup post. Like, he wasted no time. She says it must have been like 2 or 3 hours after they broke up that he went and posted on Instagram. And since she's come out to talk about this on Call Her Daddy, people online have said, me watching the Call Her Daddy episode with Rachael Kirkconnell, just when I think the story can't get worse, it does. I want to hug her. The fact that Matt posted about the breakup with that ludicrous caption moments before Rachael took off on a 12-hour flight without Wi-Fi is diabolical work. I love Rachael and appreciate her vulnerability, but she's revealing so many red flags about Matt and how he always had the upper hand in their relationship. He didn't care about her. It was all on his timeline. Matt telling Rachael there were qualities in her that he worries about having in a wife after leading her on for 4 years, jail immediately. Even though Rachael is being so respectful, it's clear that Bachelor power dynamic continued with the walking on eggshells, constantly apologizing and feeling like she's lost her mind. She deserves a partner that she has emotional safety with after time to heal. And that's where things stand with Matt James and Rachael Kirkconnell. Honestly, this whole situation has been a whirlwind, and it's left so many people completely shocked at how things played out. Since she shared her side, like I've said, a lot of people have expressed support for Rachael, and people are calling Matt out. She seems to be handling things as best as she can, but it's clear this breakup really hit hard. But I want to know what you guys think about the fact that Rachael came out and said what happened in the breakup. How are you guys feeling about Matt? How is she saying it all went down? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.